right, guys, I'm trying this again. Hopefully it works this time. Donna, thank you for the heads up. I did go and I checked and it was crazy scratchy, a lot of feedback. So I don't know what was going on. So hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. And I'm just going to get back, get all my links there for you and get that saved. And so Donna, if you are back on, I would love it, girl, if you would tell me how the sound is working this time, if we're good or if we're still scratchy. I am doing a local recording as well. Let me see, I'm just making sure that I'm going to show up, that I'm where I'm supposed to be. There we go. All right, I think we're good. Guys, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I am Debra Harrison with Simply Sweet and Ink Designs. And thank you for crafting with me. Hello, Donna. Oh, good. Yay, Donna says that I am good now. Hi, Tina. Thanks for joining me, sweet friends. All right, so today is a little bit different. I'm going back to basics. Last week, you may have, if you watched the replay or joined me live, you probably saw that I gave you a real quick behind the scenes look of my craft area. I'll just kind of lean over. Maybe you can see that, the stamps, the papers, the inks, all that, right? And I may have given you the impression that I never order anything. And there is nothing further from the truth. I love ordering my stamping supplies all the time. New catalogs, new goodies to play with. But I came to the realization a few years ago, watching my family and their video games. If you have gamers in your life, you know what I'm talking about. You probably know where I'm headed. They love their games. They love playing with them. They love spending money on them. And I'm thinking, but everything's digital nowadays. I'm like, you have like nothing left when you finish that video game. And then I realized that my family, they just love the enjoyment of the community, of playing with their friends, and just the game, the entertainment of the games themselves. So I kind of changed my perspective on my crafting and my stamping. And so I order something, I play with it for a while, and then when I'm done playing with it, once it's retired, I'll either sell it or I will donate it to a nonprofit. So I just kind of had a little change of perspective about my stamping supplies. Now, I do stay within a budget, and I think we all have a personal responsibility on what we spend, but I just kind of learned to value the entertainment of my stamping supplies rather than the investment. Now, we do always have to make some initial investments when we start stamping, like a paper trimmer, we need ink pads, we need paper, and we need some stamps, right? So that's kind of, I was thinking back on when I first started 15 years ago. And in fact, it's been just about 15 years almost to the month. And I started with three things: stamps, ink, and paper. And so in the stamping world, we call that S.I.P. And so I thought I would share with you today a really quick card using the Seize the Day, just with some stamps, ink, and paper. So let me go on ahead. I'm going to get this banner out of the way so that you can see everything a little better. And let's see, there we go. All right, cool. So really fun Seize the Day stamp set. Now it does come in a bundle, and when you buy our stamps and dies in a bundle, you do save 10%. Now I will share with you before I leave today a really fun project where I did use the dies, so it's like a really stepped up version. But when you're first starting to stamp, you really probably don't have all the fancy, equipment, like a die cutting machine and stuff. So you kind of have to work with what you have. And so that is the focus of today, to show that even with just stamps, ink, and paper, we can make a really beautiful project. So I'm going to start off. So if you are new to stamping, I know you two who are on are not, y'all are avid crafters, but for the rest of those who may be new to stamping, I'm going to just share with you real quick how we create a card base. Now, cardstock comes in 8.5 by 11 inches, and we have two ways that we can cut it in half. We can either cut it down the lengthwise at 4 1/4, and we get two card bases that we fold in half, and we call that portrait. Or we can do a landscape mode where we cut at 5 1/2, and that will give us two pieces that we can score at 4 1/4, and that gives us a portrait mode card. So today I am actually doing mine in portrait, portrait, not landscape. So where it's the long ways, where it's 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I have scored it in half at 5 1/2 inches. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to take, let me grab my project sheet. For those on my email list, you'll be getting tomorrow afternoon the project sheet for today card, and it includes all the measurements, the supplies that I use. Now, if you're not on my email list, I encourage you, hop down, go look for the link, sign up. There is a ordering promotion this week. It actually ends on Monday, and I will have a real quick link to that ordering promotion down at the bottom of the email that you don't want to miss, okay? Because it does end on Monday. So the first measurement that I have is I'm going to take a piece of soft seafoam cardstock. This measures 4 by 5 1/4, and that is going to create a layer for us. And then I'm going to glue that on to my card front. Now, for you avid crafters, I do have just a really quick, real fun watercoloring wash technique that we're going to do today. You may have already done it, but if you haven't, it's just a really fun way to jazz up your card. So that is going to be the next step. So that is layer number 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create this really cool wash. And we're going to get a little messy today. So I have scrap paper, and I'm going to make room here because I don't want to make a mess here. So I am going to take this, it's called fluid watercolor paper. And so it's a really porous paper. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a sponge with water to open up the fibers in this watercolor paper. And so I just took like a little quarter of a sponge, and I already have some water from working with this earlier. And so I want to wet my card. So I'm just going to go across here. Now I already have some ink in my water, but that's okay. So I'm going to get it nice and moist. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, you have actually 2 options. Now, if you're a starting crafter, then you just may want to use your ink pad. And what you can do is you can take your ink pad, take it and squeeze in the middle so that when you open it up, you have a pool of ink. Now, another way is that all of our ink pads do have re-inkers, so you could obviously just put a few drops of the re-inker solution into some water, dilute it, and you could do that as well. So now that I have this puddle of ink, I'm going to take my wet sponge and I'm going to dilute it. And I'm going to pick up that ink, and then I'm just going to do a real quick wash across the front there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry, but I sped it up for us because we don't want to wait for this to dry. So what I did is I did one ahead of time. You can either let it dry naturally by air, or you can take a heat tool and that will speed it up really fast. And that is what I did for this one that I've already done ahead of time, is I just used my heat tool and it was wonderful. So let me get this out of the way and totally out of my space. And let me do a little cleanup so that I don't get this water everywhere. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our finished watercolor paper wash and we're going to glue it onto the front. Now, if you don't like how it turns out, you can always try it again on the back. That's the beauty of this watercolor paper. It's nice and thick. So what you do on one side, you really don't see so much on the other side. And it's really cool because every single one that you do will have a completely unique look. All right, so the next one I'm going to do is I am going to take a piece of Just Jade cardstock. Now this piece measures, let's see, it measures 2 by 3.5 inches. And I am going to take the little bubbles that are in the stamp set and my Just Jade ink pad. And I am going to just, again, I'm going to need some scratch paper. So today's a little messy on the stamping, so you want to have some scratch paper. So I'm just going to randomly stamp bubbles onto the front here. And then I am going to, you know what, I'm going to need that again, so I'm going to leave that out. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to put that here in the lower right corner of my card front. And then next what I want to do is I'm going to take some linen thread and I am just going to wrap it around a couple times around my card and just tie off with the bow. And I like using linen thread. It's just really easy just staple embellishment to have. And plus too, I felt like it works really well kind of as a nautical, like for nets and stuff, for this card, having a nautical look. So we're just gonna tie that off on the edge there. And then next what I want to do is I'm gonna stamp my card. Now here's a sample for me. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the seaweed that's in the stamp set, and we're gonna stamp here in the corner with the Just Jade ink pad again. Now, if you're not familiar, Just Jade is actually one of the colors that's going to be retiring at the end of April. So if you don't have this ink pad, I highly encourage you, go ahead and order it. Also order the ink pad too, because you want to make sure you have plenty to be able to re-ink your pad later on. I'm going to next stamp my sentiment in Night of Navy, and this is going to go in the corner, in the upper corner here. And then last, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Calypso Coral, and I'm going to stamp two things. I'm going to stamp a fish on the front. Again, we're just using stamps, ink, and paper, and a little bit of an embellishment. Stamp our fish, and then I'm going to take a piece of basic white cardstock. This measures 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to stamp a crab here in the corner. And then that is it for my stamping. Now, I can't remember, I don't think I told you the measurement of this piece. This one measures 2.5 by 3.5. So this first one was 2 by 3.5, and then this one is just a little bit wider at 2.5 by 3.5. And so I'm just gonna take dimensionals, and we're gonna pop it up here in the corner. Oh, that is stuck. All right, so I'm just gonna add that right here in the corner. And then of course, we need some bubbles, and I love the opal rounds because they look like little bubbles to me. So I'm gonna sprinkle some of these onto the front to finish the card on the front here. Cute. Cute little bubbles. Love it. All right. And then just one more thing. We're going to glue the inside piece. And that is it for the card. Really simple. I have an account on Split Coast Stampers. And I actually have some of my old cards. I'm not going to tell you what name it's under because I don't want you to go on and look me up. But some of my first cards were on there. And I thought, you know, it is really cool how you can just be really creative with just stamps, ink, and paper. We don't, you know, it's fun having all of the goodies. Don't get me wrong. I love all my die cutting machine, my scoring tool, all the fun little goodies that make stamping fun. But sometimes when we start off, this is all we have is stamps, ink, and paper. So just really fun project. Now, I did tell you I was going to share with you a jazzed up version using the bundle. And it is actually the projects that we are making for Stampin' Bunko in March. And isn't that cool? Took the dies, I made like a little diorama scene. And in this case, I really focused more on the dies more so than I did the stamping. I did do the watercolor wash for the background. And this is just a really simple fun fold card. And then on the back, just a little cute little starfish there in the corner. I also too, we're gonna be making a little sea salt little jar and decorating it up. And then of course we need a little box to put our little jam jar in. So just really fun projects for Stampin' Bunko next month. To share with you what is coming up in March, we do have, like I said, I do have my March Stampin' Bunko that is going to be, we play Bunko online and we do a little crafting at the beginning of the evening. That was on Tuesday, March 22nd from 6 to 9 p.m. Go check out the link here in the post and you can go get all the information and sign up for that. It is a limited number of players. You do get the project kit, you get the embellishment packet. This month it is going to be the opal rounds, and then of course we play Bunko games for some fun Stampin' Up prizes. I also too I have my March Sweet Creations Club using the Honeybee Home Bundle to make 5 really beautiful projects with that bundle there. And so there are 2 options on the Sweet Creations Club. You can either subscribe monthly and just sign up one time, and every month you'll be charged $39, and you never have to worry about registering or having to think about, oh, did I sign up this month? Because you'll already be set. If though you don't want to subscribe, you just want to try out the club, I do offer a select number of 1-month kits. Same thing, $39. That way you can get an idea of what a club kit looks like. However, with the subscription club, you do earn some club perks. So go check all that out. And then guys, don't forget, we only have a very limited time, maybe a week and a half left for our starter kit promotion. Stampin' Up! Is so much fun. Oh my goodness, I have met so many wonderful friends. In fact, some of you on here I have met because through Stampin' Up! And I'm really blessed to be able to know y'all and to be able to have that opportunity. So, but we do have a starter kit promotion where you can get $125 in products of your choice for $99 plus tax. You get free shipping for your starter kit. And also too, until the end of February, during celebration, you get to select 2 free stamp sets of your choice. I am going to recommend you pick the most expensive ones, right? Okay, so guys, anyway, also too, don't forget orders too. I do have that ordering promotion, so make sure you're on my email list so you can check that out. My ordering promotion is on top of Stampin' Up! Celebration promotion. With a $50 order, you can get a free celebration item straight from Stampin' Up! So guys, thank you for joining me. Hello, friends. I see some of you hopped on while I was in the middle of going through that. I'm so glad that you joined me, and I look forward to crafting again with you next week. Guys, keep stamping and be creative. Bye, guys. See you next week.